of kibble, sharing an Instagram post of a lost cat, or welcoming a foster pet into your home. Every bit of kindness counts. Visit petsandpeopletogether.org to learn how to be a helper in your community. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
This message is for Shauna, my mom, who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You told me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Nebraska State Veterans Homes are here to serve veterans, their spouses, surviving spouses, and Gold Star parents. Join your fellow veterans and their families at one of our homes in Bellevue, Kearney, Norfolk, or Scottsbluff. With a sliding scale to determine your financial contribution, an excellent clinical team, and plenty of fun activities, our homes are the perfect retirement choice. Learn more at veterans.nebraska.gov/homes. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Welcome into Fitness Fanatics on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Now here are your hosts, Jeff and Nicole Essig.
All right. Welcome into the Fitness Fanatics. It is Sunday, February 19th. We're just flying right along. Kind of a little depressed today. No football to deal with. So that kind of stinks.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
At least we got some basketball to watch. At 4 o'clock today, the Husker men's basketball team play in Maryland. So we'll be checking that out at our house.
Yeah, we also got Bryce and Trey coming in studio here, I think 1 to 2. So we'll have those guys here talk about a little. I'm sure they'll talk about the game.
Oh,
yeah,
oh,
McGowan's
cool.
brothers.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll have those guys in today as well. DP will be sitting in for that one. So I think
Okay.
they're all coming in studio here.
Oh, awesome! Because it's All-Star weekend, so
Yep,
they
All-Star
have a
weekend.
little
They got
break
time
here.
off, and come down here support Nebraska. And I'm not sure what they all want to talk about, but I'd imagine the game and what they're seeing, because there's a lot of breakdown. Like, this is Nebraska men's team. Cross my fingers. Let's see what happens today. But
Cross our fingers.
yeah,
Yes.
it's been a hot streak lately.
I know it's getting to be. I mean, we've lived here since 2018, and there's really not a lot to be excited about since we moved here, because 2018 was the year that they were supposed to be really good, and players got injured, and just everything kind of fell off the wagon. So
yeah,
when we moved here in the middle of February, it was already off the wagon.
I think I haven't had this much fun since you remember Teron Petaway?
Yes,
that's when I really loved that Nebraska basketball team, and then never since then. I think it's been a while since I've been that excited to watch a player like Keisei Tamanaga. Like, I loved watching Bryce McGowan's, but it's like, he's gone. He's too good. He's not going to be around next year.
Right.
We might be able to keep Tamanaga, so I'll be curious to see what he decides after the season.
Yeah, it'll be pretty interesting. I know we're excited to watch the game today at 4. Yesterday, Ben and I went to the women's game, so that was our first women's basketball game that we've been to. So it was fun for a while, up through halftime. They came out of halftime and hit a 3-pointer, and we're like, oh, 4-point lead. And then they just I think they missed like 10 straight threes. And
the box score indicates that they just kind of got outshot every quarter. And then the game, I watched it too. The game, as it just dragged on, the spread just kept getting bigger.
Yeah.
Iowa wasn't really missing either. That's the other thing. That if they played really good, that'd still be a hell of a game to win, because Iowa was knocking down shots.
Yeah, and if they would have shot a little better. I mean, I thought Nebraska played some pretty good defense at times. They were stealing balls, and it looked like it was only like Iowa had scored it was like in the 30s, at halftime, or we had tied it at 31-31 and or 33-33, but could just never get the lead. Like, they had 2 or 3 chances with the ball to take the lead. And I'll tell you, when they hit a 3 to tie it and I was ringing the ball at the court, like, if I would have said something to Ben, he wouldn't have been able to hear me, because it was awesome. Just so loud for those 20, 30 seconds. Like I was like, seriously, we couldn't hear each other sitting right next to each other. It was
it
crazy.
didn't sell out, right? It didn't quite sell out, but
It was still a record crowd, so whatever it was.
The old record was, I think, almost 14. I think it was like 13,500.
It was over. I think they 14,250.
Yeah,
or something.
it was right around there. So it's a new record, not quite sell out, but I'd imagine that place. I wish I would have gone to that one live.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah,
there was a lot of people in the 300 level.
Yeah,
so you could look around and then Matt Rule was there. You know, I saw a picture he tweeted out, and Ben and I were like, "Well, where is he?" Trying to find him, and then they kind of showed him at halftime or whenever they were doing it. But yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah,
it was a fun experience. We ate lunch at Muchachos, which is fantastic as always. We ate there a few times, and every time we've been there, it's been great. So our son loves it. So it was really good. It was a good day, even though we lost. It was a fun experience.
It was kind of expected. You kind of went in with, kind of that expectation.
Yeah,
too.
Yeah,
so like it was okay.
Yeah, and to see, Caitlin Clark was interesting.
Yeah,
I mean, she's really good. She, everybody thinks of her just a 3-point shooter, which she did hit a 3-pointer from the logo.
That's wild.
Which was interesting.
Yeah.
But no, this watching Iowa, I almost like watching women's basketball a little bit better than men's, because when you watch the women's, it just looks like it flows a lot better. Like they're always passing and backdoor cuts. I mean, it's just like
stronger fundamentals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's really enjoyable to watch, but there were some just great plays and passes and, so it was really cool to watch. So
I always wonder that with the women's sports, like if that's why they can have such lasting dynasties like UConn, because it's so much like, well, with guys, like you can they'll just fly out of the gym. Like even if you're great fundamentals, like you can't do nothing about like a Zion Williamson.
Right.
It's like, what are you going to do? Girls teams like UConn, like they were just coached so well. And like you said, it's just like a beautiful offense and defense. And it was just like a system. You just plugged in, plugged out, and didn't matter. Like it felt like they could fit anyone into those roles.
Well, and I don't know what the scholarship limits are today for women's basketball, but I know like back when UConn was at their height with like Diana Taurasi and I mean all those players that were there were really no like scholarship limits. Like in men's you can only sign like 3 or 4 or whatever over a 2-year period. So you can't bring in like 12 scholarship players every year and just flip your roster. Where women's, there was like an unlimited amount of scholarships that you could give out. So they could just UConn could bring in the top 5 ladies every year in, year out, and it didn't matter.
Well, that might make sense to their dynasty too. Then.
Yeah, right.
Like you're gonna get the best 5,
right? So it's like UConn and Tennessee, and those 2 programs when Pat Summitt was there those were the best. And I'm like old enough to remember Iowa back when they had Vivian Stringer, way long time ago, and I don't know if but so anyway, it was pretty cool. First game and the beginning of the game was getting us pumped up because they were playing like the theme from Rocky.
Oh yeah.
So like I was getting really fired up right at the beginning. I looked at Ben, I was like, man, I'm getting just jacked right now. This is awesome. But there were a lot of Iowa fans there. Short little drive over here, but
it's a pretty far drive from Iowa City. But I guess if you're from Iowa,
or
like
Council
Central
Bluffs.
Iowa, Central Iowa family, it's not bad.
But so I mean, the Iowa fans weren't too obnoxious. So not like the football game where they're really obnoxious. So it's more subdued. But there were a lot of fans there, a lot of Iowa fans. So, but it was a great game until about 6 minutes left in the third quarter.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
just kind of got out of hand, like 3 after 3 after, and it was just kind of over. But
if you would have been home, you would have probably blamed me for the loss, because I'm pretty sure that's when I started watching. I started watching in the third quarter, and we were down by about 10, and then it just all unraveled from there. So it was probably my fault.
Yeah,
that's what you like to blame me when I start to watch mid-game and it goes downhill. Go back downstairs.
There were a few whiny moments from Caitlin Clark there. If you watched it, there's a couple times where like she just thinks she gets fouled every time.
Yeah,
she's just sitting on the court like stand up and go. It was just those things are just kind of annoying. But
she's at that level. She kind of expects some of those superstar calls already.
Like she's Jordan, right? I mean, but she does, and she tends to push off a little bit. But I mean, the talent is obviously there. It was just cool to watch.
Yeah, she's a phenomenal player.
Right.
Like hands down. It's even if you don't like watching her style, it's like she's still incredible.
Yeah.
It's like me watching LeBron. Like LeBron, I take Michael Jordan any day, but damn, he's a really good player.
Yeah. So before so coming up here on the show, I guess we should talk about our guest that we're going to be having. Todd Dorr is going to be joining us here starting in the second segment. A little bit of background on Todd. I think he's like the vice VP of Farrell's. I don't really know what
Way to do your research.
Well, he's part owner of Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, and he's been around since the beginning. Like he is one of the founders of the Extreme Body Shaping program, which without him and obviously Lance, we wouldn't be here right now.
No, I definitely consider Todd a mentor.
Yes. So I always like when Sipple talks about Osborne and he's like, well, people just quit talking about Tom Osborne. And Sipple's always like, if it wasn't for Tom Osborne, we wouldn't have a job.
Yeah.
Like Memorial Stadium would just be like an attraction to look at as you drive through Lincoln. So without those guys, Farrell's wouldn't be what it is today. And I don't even know what we would be doing if we weren't doing this. So he's going to be joining us here in about 10-15 minutes to kind of talk about kind of the beginning of Farrell's, future of Farrell's. He has kind of a really cool story, his own transformation that we're going to talk about. So a lot of things to get to with him coming up. A couple weeks ago, Nicole's phone was going through.
We didn't give the update.
We didn't give an update, yes, because last show
our Instagram has been flooded with people wondering.
Really?
No.
Oh. Well, anyway, we had to go to Verizon and we were dreading it.
Yeah.
And so she was just going to go by herself. And we're like, well, there's just one right down the street from the studio.
That wasn't we. It was you.
What?
I was still going to be fine going by myself, but you were just like, let's just go now.
And we went and we walked in and there was like 7 Verizon employees waiting for us.
Literally standing at the door.
Yes.
So
we got right in and it was a very pleasant experience.
Yeah, we felt bad. We kind of talked bad about it. And it ended up being a good experience.
Yes. But I think you get
They were starting to get busy when we left.
Yes.
And you were getting antsy because you had ordered your Casey's pizza. And
yes, I ordered our Fun Day pizza, which we do every weekend.
Yep.
And so I'm like, he said, well, it'll be about 15 minutes. So I ordered it. And then I was getting a little
that's the part that got dicey.
Come on, I don't want to sit there and get cold. But no, it was, so Nicole got
that was the worst part.
Yeah, that was the worst part.
Which is not bad.
We got in so quick and then it was like, why do you have to wait?
Such a process. Oh my gosh. I don't know why it took so long.
Like, why do you have to wait 8 minutes for a
safe to open up the safe? Yeah. I don't know.
Like, well, the phone's in the safe. It'll be about 8 minutes. Like, there's just not a combination that you
It's probably some type of safety measure. Like, so if somebody's they're getting robbed or something, it's probably some safety measure, so then that amount of time the police can get there, maybe. I don't know.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That would suck though. Like,
I know.
If you're at like a situation where they're stealing from you and you're like, give it 8 minutes.
Right.
Like, you gotta stand there while
maybe that's not it, but that is awkward.
It might be. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, now we know. So everybody, just in case you were thinking about it, just think again, because you're gonna have to wait 8 minutes.
But it was a lot better than
previous
we
experiences,
it was going to be.
Yeah, it was fine.
But
I would really fine.
Yes, I'd recommend getting there close to when they open. Because
that was crazy. They were literally all just standing.
Oh, they were ready.
Door,
they were ready for us,
ready to pounce.
So yeah, no, it was great.
Yep, it was fine. Now I have a new phone.
And yep,
I had to get used to all new things.
And I almost got a new one, but I'm just like, I'll just hold on.
You will be next, though. You will be.
Yeah,
next.
I'll be next. I just, when you start to see that bill get higher and higher,
yeah,
because most people can't just write a check for a new phone, so you kind of finance it and add it onto your bill, and I'm like, I don't want my bill to go up another $35. Like, it's already outrageous.
It adds up quick, especially with the unlimited data that's not unlimited.
Yeah,
especially you guys probably are on your phones a lot.
We are, yeah.
For your work.
Yeah, they do throttle our 5G after a certain point, and we were already at the limit, and we're halfway through our billing
it was like
cycle.
5 days. Into the month.
No, yeah, but that's our billing cycle. We were halfway through.
Oh, okay.
It's fine. It's really not a big deal. We do use our phones a lot, but we don't. It's more our daughter probably that's using that.
So we did have a message on the stream, and they're probably listening to a different show.
Oh,
But it's worth reading anyway, because Stephen Green chimes in, says, I don't know about you guys, but I can't help drinking the Kool-Aid rule. Oh, absolutely. We're right there.
what option do we have at this point?
I know
Like,
he's probably listening, probably not listening to the Fitness Fanatics right now, but
Never
Right.
know.
it's
Yeah.
worth a shout out because, yes. And if Dylan Raiola commits, I'll probably drown in the Kool-Aid. So people need to check on me
yeah.
because it'll be off the charts.
Yeah, he hasn't done any.
Crazy.
He's on the path that like he hasn't done anything wrong yet.
I
And it's
know.
like, okay,
Well, it's the-
making me nervous.
And,
Like,
you know, 5 years ago, neither did Frost.
no, exactly.
I
So
know.
I'm still like,
It's not even cautiously optimistic. It's
Yeah.
just cautiously.
Yeah.
We're in the honeymoon stage still.
Right.
But
Yeah. We'll
know,
see.
we did buy tickets to go to the spring game.
oh, nice.
Yeah.
So we're going to be
But
going.
it's kind of a tradition. We've gone to this. Even when we lived in Iowa, we went to the spring game a handful of times. With when our kids were little, it was a great way to get them to have that game day atmosphere
Oh, yeah.
without actually being a
Yeah.
full game day. So
Yeah, because
That'll be fun.
usually those spring games, at least hopefully it'll be different this year. But I know in the past few years they've just kind of been,
It's been a lot more ticky tacky.
mhm.
you know, like the beginning's cool, the tunnel walk's cool. I mean, you got the band. I mean, all that stuff is like a game day atmosphere. But then when the game actually starts,
Yeah,
you're
we
like,
don't ever stay for the whole thing.
all right, it's
Yeah.
first quarter. I'm about ready to head out. So
Yeah.
I think last year we went out, hung out with AD and Raph
Oh yeah, we did.
after we left at
Yeah.
halftime.
Yeah.
And we just watched the second half. I think they were at Jake's or something. So
Mhm.
we hung out with them. But so it's pretty cool. But we have tickets. We bought our tickets up in the
Club level.
club level.
Yeah.
Oh,
seating.
nice.
Mhm.
So I splurged instead of $10, I spent $20.
Yeah. Yep.
So I'm like, we're gonna sit up there and take our escalator up to our seat. and
Hell
stuff.
yeah.
So
Mhm.
because I'm hoping that this year there's a lot of like,
You can see Jeff Sims probably. That'd be the guy I'm excited to watch, the quarterback transfer.
and with all the players they have over the scholarship limit, it's more like, okay,
It's
this is
competition.
the time
yeah.
where
Yeah.
we need to be hitting and see who can get it done and who wants it. So hopefully it'll be pretty good. I like when back in the day when it was like first team offense versus first team defense.
Yeah.
Like that used to be what we did, but then it was like it changed at some point to where like, well, you know, we want everybody to feel good about themselves. So we'll just have the first team offense play against the fifth team defense. It's just and then the first team defense play against the fifth team offense. So the first team is all together.
Yeah.
And then they just, we just did so well. And you just make us feel so good, but you really don't learn anything.
No.
Yeah, it needs to be a preview for
It was funny because
For us.
yesterday, Ben, our son's a big Orioles fan, and he showed me this highlight of their practice because
Oh my gosh.
Cade Povich,
Yeah.
the former Husker pitcher, is on the Orioles.
Mhm.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know
So there was this little highlight of Povich striking out Adley Rutschman. So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, Adley, he's nobody. He strikes out, or it's like, and Ben's like, no, this Povich, he's the man, you know. So it's like, okay, one of our best players just struck out against the pitcher. Like, which one is it? Is the pitcher good? Is the you know? That's
Yeah.
kind of like when the first team plays the first team. You're
Yep.
just like, oh, is the offense bad or is the defense good? You know, those types of things. So, but all right, I think we're gonna head to break here. Hopefully, Todd is calling in or getting here in the next segment. But we'll go to break. We'll be right back, and hopefully, we'll be joined by Todd Dora, Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping on the Fitness Fanatics.
The Ticket Water Cooler.
8 Big Ten running backs in their top 25 returning in 24/7 sports. You can certainly argue that Anthony Grant could be in there. Nobody would bat an eye.
That's just because the Iowa running back ended the season on a higher note. I don't care about the end of the season. Look at the entire season. Anthony Grant had a great season.
The good news for Nebraska is if Anthony Grant does fall off, A.J. Allen looks like he's going to be there. Then you have Ramir Johnson, who led the team in rushing 2 years ago. and
Gabe
Gabe
Irvin, who was your starter
who
2
is-
years
who
ago.
is- So, I mean, they've got a great room.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People City Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
I'm Brian. At 58, doctors told me I had the heart of a 37-year-old man. They told me that after my heart transplant surgery. If you're a smoker, here are some tips in case that happens to you. First, you have to quit smoking before you can get on a list for a transplant. So quit now. And never feel sorry for yourself. I don't. I only feel sorry for that 37-year-old man.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
I know that a lot of times, Mom, it might not seem like I'm listening to you, but I am. I hear you. And what you say really does matter to me.
I mean, let's be honest. No kid likes rules, but I get why we have them. I hear you, and I know it's because you care.
For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Sponsored by DHHS and aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes, their age, the way they speak? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job,
not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
Or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? Or a 14-year-old girl who signs up to every after-school activity, not to make friends, but just to get something to eat? Or a retiree who fell ill and had to choose
between getting medicine or groceries.
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew were hungry. I am hungered in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Now back to Fitness Fanatics on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, we are back here. We should be joined by Todd Dorr. Oh, there he is. Todd, can you hear us?
All good.
All right, we can hear you. We can see you also.
Yay.
Awesome.
Yeah, there you are. All right, how is everything going with you?
Good. Yeah. Excited to be on the show. Thanks for inviting me. I know Lance was your very first guest.
Yep.
Is that
He
right?
was. Yes,
Yeah.
he was. And that was like 10 months ago.
Yeah.
So we're coming up on our 1-year anniversary here the first week of April. So
Awesome.
We're doing this for a year. So long.
Congrats.
Thank you. All right. Well, we're gonna just jump right in. What are you laughing about?
You trying to get comfortable? What were you?
I was trying to cross my leg up. I don't know what I was doing in here.
It's kind of a lot of moving around, Jeff.
I know.
Welcome to our show. Jeff
I know.
moves around the whole time.
I think I probably worked the most on the camera with you, Jeff.
I'm just, it's kind of like you sitting in a pew and you're just, you get your back. Well, Nicole stands and I sit.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how we roll. Well, before we get started into the Farrells thing, I know you're a big Iowa State fan. We typically don't ever have Iowa fans on the show.
We have not yet.
No, we've never had an Iowa fan as our guest.
No.
We've had some Iowa State fans as our guests, but we have not had for us to have an Iowa fan as our guest. I mean, it'd have to be a pretty big deal to have this person on.
I don't know. Or we just won't talk about it.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, I mean, that I graduated from Iowa State. Both Lance and I graduated from Iowa State. Ames is only an hour and 15 minutes from our hometown of Guthrie Center, Iowa. And at that time, Iowa State had an incredible martial arts program, still does. And for me, as a high school student, I really wanted to see how far I could go in martial arts. And so knowing Master Pak was in Ames, it was just a no-brainer for me to go to Iowa State because I could start competing right away, and that really excited me. So I became big Iowa State fan. Graduated in '93. Was so happy that my son went to Iowa State also, and he just graduated in December with a music performance degree.
Awesome.
My daughter went to Iowa State for a year, and then she transferred to Iowa. So we're kind of a house divided. We were actually in Iowa City last night, and love supporting her. She's a music performance major also, and just love supporting her and Iowa. And so
now in 1993, that would have been the height of the Fred Hoiberg era. Is that correct?
That's right. Yep. It was the mayor was alive and well, and he was. I mean, Ames High. I just remember that basketball team that he was on in high school. Incredible basketball team, and he was just an incredible player. And then to go to Iowa State was pretty special also.
I didn't know that. I didn't know he was Ames native. Like I didn't know he was. Well, I didn't know it started in high school.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
learned something
new.
new.
Ames High has actually pumped out some really good basketball players. I mean, Harrison Barnes graduated from Ames High, went to UNC.
Mm-hmm.
Taman Lipsey on the Iowa State basketball team right now is his name is high product. Doug McDermott also was on Harrison Barnes basketball team too. I mean,
we know the McDermotts. Yes, Greg McDermott.
I'm telling you to watch Doug McDermott and Harrison Barnes play basketball at the same time on the same team in high school was almost unfair to the other teams. It was an incredible show that they would put on every night. So
let's kind of get back into, because you were just on a podcast with Lance that we both listened to about how Farrells started, and I was not aware that you first reached out to Lance when you was it 12 or 14?
No, I was 12 when I did my first taekwondo class with him. This was in 1982, and martial arts really wasn't popular back then. I mean, it was just kind of coming in. I mean, Chuck Norris was a pretty hot commodity in the movies back then. I mean, Delta Force, Lone Wolf McQuaid, he was, the man, and could defend himself. And I thought, oh man, look at how high he can kick, and look what he could do. And was really excited about doing some of that. And I thought, I'm 12 and pretty small, and that looks like something I would want to do also. And so I got a couple books from the library, martial arts books. There were only 2 books in the Guthrie Center Public Library, and one was a judo book and one was a karate book. And the karate book was way too complicated for me to figure out. So I got into the judo book a little bit, a lot of rolling around and doing back falls and side falls and stuff. And the first time I practiced, I got out my little mat, my little sleep mat from kindergarten, and which, was a 1/2 inch thick, and plastic nonetheless. And so I'm like falling all over the place and practicing judo, I thought. And my mom comes upstairs and she said, what are you doing? And I said, well, I'm learning judo. And she said, you're causing a ruckus. I want you to stop that, and so it wasn't but 2 weeks later, my dad came home, and I don't think I shared this story on the podcast, on Lance's Life at Level 10 podcast. But my dad came home one day, just a couple weeks later, and he had seen a flyer at the local cafe that had all these little tear-off phone numbers at the bottom. You remember those? You take your scissors and, just a phone number. And he said, hey, call this number. I think it might be something you'd be interested in. I don't know what it is. It looks like karate. It said Taekwondo on the flyer, but it had a guy kicking.
Yeah.
So I think this might be something you'd be interested in. So I remember at 12, I went over, grabbed the phone right away, pulled the phone off the hook, dialed the numbers. For those in their 50s, you remember doing that. Mm-hmm. Had like a 50-foot long cord to that phone too. Dialed the number on the other end. And I said, oh, meet me there Monday night at, I don't remember what it was, 30 or so, and we did our first Taekwondo class.
You did tell that story because I thought that was funny the way your dad pronounced it, because that's how our daughter pronounced Taekwondo too. The first couple times she saw it, so I was going to tell her about it. You did tell that story because I thought it was cute.
Yeah, the little tear off.
Yeah, yep.
The numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was a couple years after that too that he was still at Iowa State at that time, and he graduated and got a job out of town. So for us, it was we could either quit doing Taekwondo or I could teach. So I started teaching at 14 and learned a lot about what not to do at age 14.
Right.
My mom would come home, and she was one of the students. My mom would come home and she would say, you could be not so hard on us, okay? Like, all right.
At 14.
At 14, yes.
Yeah.
When did I know the first Taekwondo locations one was in West Des Moines or Beaverdale. And then I know there was one in Urbandale because I worked at Godfather's Pizza that was right next to Farrell's.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that one started as a Taekwondo or if it was started as an extreme body shaping location, but that was a long time ago. Like 2006 is when I did Farrell's for the very first time, right in the Urbandale location.
Yeah, okay. But how long was the Urbandale location there? Because you worked at Godfather's. Oh, not that location.
What?
I was thinking when you worked at Ashworth.
Oh no, at Ashworth, the Taekwondo place was right next to us. Also,
I know.
Yeah,
might have Godfather's.
That might have been a marketing strategy here. We need to get
Godfather's Pizza. That's where the kids go.
Yep. That's right. That's right. We saw a lot of pizzas walking out of that building. So Lance opened the first martial arts studio in August of 1989, and it was in below Plaza Lane's bowling alley.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And I was there at the grand opening. I was a student at Iowa State at the time, and I was there for the grand opening. We had Arlene Lemus, who was the first Taekwondo gold medalist from the '88 Olympics, come in and do a demo, and it just attracted a whole bunch of people to it. It was a blast. Big shout out to Arlene because she helped us, launch Farrell's in Des Moines, and she just gave an awesome seminar, and just has really impacted a lot of people's lives. But she helped Lance really kick off, Farrell's. And then the second store was, you're right, it was the Urbandale location on Hickman, a little bit further west. And then the third store was the West Des Moines store. So, yeah.
All right.
Cool.
So when did you guys decide to do the, like, because you started off at Taekwondo, and now like Farrell's is known, across the country as for kickboxing, and like, not, I don't think a lot of our members here in Lincoln even know that it started off as a Taekwondo gym and then kind of morphed into what it was. But I know you were talking about how like moms and dads of your Taekwondo students were like calling because they were watching Billy Blanks and Tybo, which Nicole and I had the Billy Blanks.
Oh, yeah. VHS tapes.
tapes.
There you go.
And I remember doing them in our living room in Beaverdale together. Long
Awesome.
time. This like 2002, 2003 time period.
Wow.
So that's right when people were probably starting to call you because of Billy Blanks.
Well, yeah. My first time doing Farrell's was in 2003, 2004.
2004.
Yeah.
Yes.
That
In
was close.
Beaverdale.
Yep.
Wow.
So how did that all come about?
Yeah. So we started getting calls actually in 97 from people, kind of first part of 97, middle part, around that time, started getting calls. Hey, do you have Tybo? And we didn't know what it was. And so we started doing some research. We bought the VHS tapes also because we had a couple class time openings at our Des Moines or Beaver Avenue, our Beaverdale location. And we thought, we have times where we could do a kickboxing class, maybe bring in a different market. And we were really ramping up our martial arts at the time. And so at the end of 97, we did a ton of research on all these cardio kickboxing type of programs. And almost all of them were like Billy Blanks. You do just kind of aerobic style kickboxing for 45 to 60 minutes. And Lance and I looked at that and said, yeah, we need to figure out how to do that, but we have an advantage in a way that we can do this with bags. We've got all these bags here for our Taekwondo classes. What if we punched and kicked the bags, and really differentiated ourselves in the market? And so we kind of launched with that idea, like, hey, let's just do a warm up, kind of like what Billy Blanks is doing. So it gives people the opportunity to feel like they're doing what they see on TV. But then let's pull the bags out and do what we do well, and that's punch and kick the bags. And so we kicked it off in 98. That was our first kickboxing class. We had classes at 7:45 and 8:30. So you had two choices. Didn't even have morning classes. And so we kicked them off, and just never really looked back. It wasn't until 2000 that we started seriously considering doing some sort of weight training as part of the program, because Lance and I had gone through the Bill Phillips Body for Life program just kind of on our own and had amazing results. And we thought, wow, this is for everybody. Martial arts isn't for everybody, but we felt like this is.
Right. So when was the first extreme body shaping 10-week challenge? When did that take place?
Yeah, September of 2001.
Okay.
We said, hey, we opened it up to all of our kickboxing members and said, hey, we're going to launch this new program. It's for 10 weeks. Would love to have you join. And we had over three locations. We had 40 people sign up, and they joined. So 3 locations. So we had about 12 to 15 people per location, mostly Taekwondo students, mostly, we had a mix of kickboxing students and a couple friends that people brought in also. Right. And the results that we saw in the first 10 weeks were just amazing. We're like, holy cow, this is just the same thing that we got, in our kickboxing, or in Body for Life. I mean, and the kickboxing and the nutrition and the resistance training, it was amazing. And so we just kept tinkering and kept trying to improve, and learned a lot, right from the beginning on what not to do. We learned a lot about what people don't like. We were heavy on feedback, and so we kept modifying our program according to that feedback, and just kept trying to improve it over and over again. And year after year felt like we were really starting to gain some traction. And then it was 2005 when Lance said, "Hey, let's start franchising this and see where that takes us." And I've learned a lot about franchising also over the years.
Right. Yeah, I remember. So I'm sure you know Sean Comer, who used to manage Godfathers there. I had no idea who Lance was at the time, and I just remember Sean saying, "Oh, he comes over here. He could probably kick you in the face 6 times in 5 seconds." And I was like, "Oh, okay," So I just remember when I was thinking about doing that. I mean, it was right next door, and I went over and talked to somebody, and I'm just like, "Gosh, 6 days a week? How can I possibly
do 0
this?"
days a week right now.
Right. I mean, it was, to me, it was like, there's no way I can do this.
Yeah.
So I joined in Urbandale in January of 2006 with my buddy. And I lost 28 pounds in the 10 weeks. And I can't remember what he did. He had really amazing results as well. And then, I thought, well, this isn't too bad. A funny story I always tell our 10-week members, like the Saturday of week 1 when I teach. I remember that first Saturday, my buddy Mike and I, we got to the gym close to when class was starting, and we walked in and there were no yellow bands left.
And the lightest color band.
Yeah. We're like, oh my gosh, how are we going to do this? So from that point, we were always the first ones in the parking lot before the instructor got there, and we would just follow the instructor right into the door to make sure we had our yellow bands.
That's awesome.
It's funny, I still remember some of the instructors that I had from 17 years ago.
Yeah.
Like,
Jeff, there are some instructors that have been teaching or still teaching today. They're, that continue to do the program, love giving back, love seeing people get the results that they have, that they've made it part of their routine. And I'm sure you see it in Lincoln also. Some of those founding instructors are still there. They love giving back. Their hearts are in it. They love facilitating transformation. I mean, it's super exciting to see, because fitness is fickle. People start and quit fitness routines all the time. And this, you're talking about 6 days a week. And, we know that not everybody does 6 days a week, but man, for those people that are looking for, that are just sick and tired of being sick and tired, they're looking for something that's going to help them break through. It's almost like 6 days a week is that lifestyle change that people need to really, press it forward.
Yeah. Yep. We see that too, especially because it's so balanced, it's kickboxing and strength training. So I think when people get really intimidated about that 6 days a week, you're not kickboxing 6 days a week. So it's really balanced. Like, I always think of strength training as like a rest day for kickboxing, and kickboxing is your strength training rest day. So there's that rest built in. We do kickboxing that first Monday of the session, and then, people are just shell shocked when they leave after that 45 minutes. But you're like, yes, but tomorrow is strength training. Now it's not going to be easier, but it's not going to be as chaotic. Like, you get a breather in between those kickboxing days with the strength training. So I think once people get in it and see that, it helps, but you can't really explain it until you're in it.
Well, and what you're saying, fitness is fickle. Like, we've been at the with Farrell's for 15, 16, 17 years. And, we've seen programs come and go. We've seen fads come and go. What I always like, my kind of biggest selling point to people when they're saying, well, what makes Farrell's different is, number one, we've been doing the same thing for 22 years.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a fad. It's like, it's something that works, and pretty much the core principles of Farrell's have been exactly the same for 22 years. I mean, we're doing the same meal plan which is the body for 22 years. Why? Because it works.
Yeah.
Yep. It works.
You know, we've been doing now the strength training has come a long way. I remember back, you know, when we first started, and we kind of tell our members this too, we did the same 4 chest exercises
right
every single upper body day.
Only classic sets.
Yep, that's it.
Right.
Classic sets, the same 4 principal exercises every single time.
Yep.
And then now we have so many different counts. And so that's really come a long ways, but the principal values are still the same. 3 days of cardio. Yes. Oh,
yeah,
go ahead.
I mean the core will always remain the same. It's consistency. It's a disciplined approach to the way we work out. And you know, we get so many people that come in that give orders all day, right? I mean, they're planning, they're giving orders, they've got structure to their lives. And when they come in, they actually like us telling them what to do. And you know, we launched relaunched the location last year or 2 years ago in Waukee, Iowa. We relaunched it, and over the course of a year, I said to our head coach Michael, I said, "Hey, how many people have you know gotten injured like doing class?" And he said, I don't see any. I don't remember any. And I said, well, I actually remember one guy tweaked his calf muscle in my class. And so there was one, and he couldn't remember anybody that's gotten injured. I mean, it's that safety. It's that, you know, the cool thing is we teach people how to do kickboxing. Kickboxing can be intimidating. Strength training by itself, standalone, you're like, man, I'm not sure what I'm walking into. We make it easy for people to start. We make it, you know, we have that disciplined and structured approach. So, you know, when you walk into strength training class, you're going to have a similar format, but different exercises each time. And you're probably going to be sore every day, but it's going to be a good sore. You know, it's not going to be a miserable sore.
Well, I've been sore for 15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It moves around.
Right.
Something's always sore.
Which that shows that it's working. You know, like if you weren't sore for 5 years, then one, you're not pushing yourself, or two, what you're doing isn't working. So I like this past week, I was just
it's going to be next.
Oh my gosh.
So next week is coming up, starting tomorrow is week 7.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about week 7. It kicks my butt every time. So I'm going to be sore next week. I know it. Every session, week 7 kicks my butt.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be hidden into that.
Well, we're going to take a break. When we come back, one of our favorite segments, and I know who your favorite NFL team is, but I don't know how you became a fan of that team. So we're going to talk a little NFL with Todd Dorr coming back here on 93.7 The Ticket on the Fitness Fanatics.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
This message is for Shauna, my mom, who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You told me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force, and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is, my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately, in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
The captain, Vershawn Jackson.
We're going to get Amon Green set up in here.
You know, you go back 15, 20 years ago, video games is a picture of a kid or an adult sitting in the basement, you know, lights off by themselves, eating Doritos, drinking Coca-Cola and all out of shape. And it's different now.
Yeah, y'all working out.
You know, and it's like, you got to work it out now. So I'm adding in practice sessions in the weight room. We're working out.
Get them, Amon.
You know, we're doing esports camp, just like training camp. We're doing 2 a day where we're on the Xboxes, we're on the PCs, 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours at night.
Serve Nebraska believes that volunteers are part of what makes Nebraska great. Each year, the Step Forward Awards honors volunteers from across the state who serve their communities in outstanding ways. We hope you'll join us this year at the Step Forward Awards luncheon on October 27th in Omaha. Help us thank volunteers with a celebration to remember. To register, visit serve.nebraska.gov and click Register Now. We hope to see you there. Paid for by Serve Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, listen up. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service plumbers. If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People City Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Now back to Fitness Fanatics on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into the Fitness Fanatics. We got a quick segment here. We're going to talk a little NFL. Todd Dorr of Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, the corporate office, corporate trainer. He just does it all for Farrell's. So he's joining us. All right, so Todd, favorite NFL team and
Steelers.
How become okay?
What's the origin story, though?
What's the background to this?
Yeah. So, you know, when I was a kid in elementary school, you know, you'd always go outside and play football in recess. It didn't matter what the weather was like, and if it was sloppy and muddy out, it was even better. Try to get you know, good and muddy, and just have fun playing football. And all the kids in my class, they like had their favorite teams, right? And Iowa doesn't have an NFL team, so most of the kids' teams were, you know, Chiefs, Vikings, Bears, Packers, and Cowboys. Cowboys were big in the 70s, and I said, well, I want to be. My favorite team's the Steelers. I just kind of blurted it out. My favorite team's the Steelers, and And I said that because number one, they were winning at the time, right? So they had won the Super Bowl against the Vikings, and then they were doing really well. That was Terry Bradshaw, Franco Harris, Lynn Swan, that was Mike Webster. That was those years. Fun football teams, and they had won back-to-back Super Bowls. So I became a fan probably when I was about 8 years old, and I mean, my parents were like, "Hey, let's just get him anything that has Steelers on it. He'll like it."
Yeah.
I got like a vinyl duffel bag that was the Steelers duffel bag. I had a Terry Bradshaw shirt, with the blonde bomber pictured on the front. I had, you'll like this. I had a Steelers latch hook. You remember latch hook back in the day?
Like crochet thing.
Similar, yeah. If you're in your 50s, you know what latch hook is.
Okay, we're not in our 50s.
We're in our 40s.
I know.
Calm down.
So, I mean, Steelers birthday cake. I had wristbands. I had Steelers shoes. I had socks. I had underwear. I had like Steelers underoos. I had everything Steelers.
There was no turning back. Yeah.
Oh, I was all in. Terry Bradshaw was winning. Terry Bradshaw gets hurt. Cliff Stout comes in as the next quarterback. And I'm like, oh, this is a big guy. He's got promise, big arm. He was awful. And then we just suffered for years after Bradshaw. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. That was tough.
Kind of like me becoming a Bears fan in 1985.
Yep.
When I was 7. And they just won the Super Bowl. And now here we are 37 years later. And the Bears have played in one Super Bowl in the last 37 years. At least for you. You've seen the Steelers have always been consistently good since Bill Cowher got there. So you've seen at least your team has been good in the playoffs. I mean, I think I've seen the Bears play in maybe 7 playoff games in the last 25 years. That's it, 7.
That's
it. Yeah. So why is it that we become fans of these teams when we're young kids? And then we stay a fan of those teams our whole lives.
The psychology of fandom. I don't know.
Like no matter if they like, why am I still a Bears fan? Like, why do I stick with them when every year, of course,
you guys have the first round draft pick. Everything's gonna change.
Oh,
this year.
I mean, it's like I don't know why. It's almost like
it's too late to go back.
When the playoffs start, it's good because I'm just relaxed and my season's over by about October.
Yeah.
And I don't have any stress. Like we've been in a Super Bowl in 06. It wasn't for us.
Well, you know that the Steelers, all the Steelers fans are Bears fans this year also because we've got the Bears second round draft pick.
Yep, you do. So it's basically the first pick of the second round.
That's right.
Or it's like the 32nd pick. So it's really like the last pick of the first round. So
yeah. So I've actually gone to several Steelers games. I've gone to 6 of them, and two of them in Pittsburgh. And out of all the games that I've gone to, the Steelers record is 1 win, 5 losses.
Yeah,
it's rough. I've been to one Bears game, and it was the playoff game in 06 against the Carolina Panthers, and we lost.
Yeah.
Only Bears game I've ever been to.
No.
And so I'm just done going to opposing stadiums because that walk of shame is brutal.
The walk of shame is brutal leaving Memorial Stadium in Nebraska. Even when you're at home, it just stinks.
That's true.
Oh,
all right. Well, we're up against the break here. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about your personal story you've gone through over the last 10, 11 months that we talked about the other day. So we'll be right back with Todd Dorr of Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping coming up here. Don't go anywhere.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealership, is hosting their annual planter clinic at the Adams County Fairgrounds in Hastings, Nebraska, February 22nd and 23rd. Landmark's planter clinic offers expansive equipment training and important information on new and updated technology for this planting season. Get a refresher before heading to the field on in-cab monitors, maintenance points, and options to increase your operations profits. Join us February 22nd and 23rd in Hastings. Learn more at RSVP at landmarkimp.com/events.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Turning my pain into purpose is pretty much what I have done to start this foundation.
In August 2020, after the death of George Floyd, Bridget Floyd and other family members established the George Floyd Memorial Foundation in support of the Black community.
It's going to take more than just us as a foundation. It's going to take the community, the world, to make a change.
Fight for racial justice for the Black community. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
I know that a lot of times, Mom, it might not seem like I'm listening to you, but I am. I hear you. And what you say really does matter to me.
I mean, let's be honest. No kid likes rules, but I get why we have them. I hear you, and I know it's because you care.
For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Sponsored by DHHS and aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Public schools are the cornerstones of our communities, and it's communities that ensure students have great public schools. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. Learning happens at home, in school, and everywhere in between. We all have a role to play in supporting student learning in the classroom and beyond. Help us make this the best school year yet.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hey, you got any gum?
Yeah, check my backpack.
What's this?
Oh, that's naloxone. It can reverse an opioid overdose. I decided to always keep it on me after my friend almost died. It saved his life.
I'm so sorry. That makes me want to have it with me too.
You totally should. Check the pharmacy. It was actually really easy to get and it's easy to use.
I definitely will. Thanks.
Paid for by the CDC. Sponsored by Nebraska DHHS. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Amethyst and Nicholas. Congratulations on getting your diploma. You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hey guys, this is Lindsay Teal from Nebraska Golf Team. Imagine golfing the best courses in the world. St. Andrews, Pebble Beach, Southern Hills, the best of the best. You can play those courses and more without ever leaving the city of Lincoln at Double Eagle Golf. Double Eagle has the city's best golf simulators, 5 high-quality bays that track ball speed, launch angle, club speed, spin rate, and more to give you the most accurate gameplay. Check it out for yourself year-round. Double Eagle Golf, just 5 minutes from downtown at the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street.
Getting experience to jumpstart a meaningful career can be difficult, and education can cost a fortune. Luckily, AmeriCorps can be the the solution. With AmeriCorps, you'll earn a stipend and education award while helping people. Plus, you'll gain professional skills and make connections to help you build your career. If you're ready to start a career you can be proud of, visit serve.nebraska.gov/service to find a program for you. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Now back to Fitness Fanatics on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into the Fitness Fanatics. We're starting hour 2. If you miss any part of the show, you can catch us on theticketfm.com. That is our website. We are under the Ticket Weekends, Weeknights tab. When I went down to the women's game yesterday, we walked by the new Ticket facility. And I kind of, the new Ticket location
studio.
Downtown. Yes, the new studio. I peeked my head in there. I told Ben, I said, maybe we should just buy one of these condos above here so I can just roll down to the studio in the morning or whenever, But it's pretty close to the stadium. I mean, it's like, it'll be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to it. So Sunday mornings after Husker game day, we'll be at the prime spot. People when we come in, talk Husker football after wins. I don't know if we'll even be able to talk fitness at all, because people will be coming into this. Hopefully,
how quickly you've already forgotten how much we did not talk about football during football season on our show.
That's year. Because now, Todd, during the football season, we try to be a positive show, so we didn't really talk a lot of Nebraska football. I think the most we ever talked about it was after the Iowa win.
Yeah.
But other than that, there were times where we didn't even bring it up, not even mention the word football on here because we were trying to be positive. Sunday's the positive day on the Ticket, where Monday through Saturday it's all sports all the time. Local sports from 6 a.m. till all the way till 10 p.m. So on Sundays, we try to kind of stay away from that. But if we start winning, then maybe we'll talk a little bit more about it.
Well, years ago, I was at a training. It was one of the first ones that I had instructor training that I had done in Omaha, and it was a Saturday morning, and it was a very mild joke. I don't even remember what it was, but I like to joke around. I like to have fun at the training. And it was something about the Huskers, and you could have heard a pin drop in the room. And I thought, oh my, I said something really bad. Well, I will never joke. I'll never make any sort of joke about Nebraska. So I just stopped at that point. I read the room really well.
Yeah. But just a little too late.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
Well, nowadays we're desensitized to all that.
Yeah,
so
it's
like
different
whatever.
now.
We lose, it's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yep.
We're just used to it. So I think if next year, if we win 8 or 9 games, we might have a parade.
Maybe. Yeah.
So as long as we beat Iowa.
You notice I'm not chiming in on this conversation. I'm just leaving it alone.
Yeah, that's probably smart.
It's okay.
Yeah. We can talk bad about the Huskers, but nobody else can.
Yeah,
we
right.
know that's how it is, so we can say it. But
But we did beat Iowa. So any comments?
Hey,
that
remember
are made,
that one time?
That's right. Anytime somebody's giving me a hard time, somebody posted some meme about Cowboys fans and Husker fans that are living in the 90s, and as an Iowa fan, so I just got on his Facebook page and I sent him the picture that I have saved of Garrett Nelson holding up the Heroes Trophy with the score 24-17. That's it. That's all that needs to be said.
That's not living in the past.
No, that's all that needs to be said. So
AD from the text line just texted. He said, hopefully we can talk Nebraska football and start smiling again.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, AD, that's your job during the week. You that's where you have to navigate through those waters.
Mm-hmm.
And AD, I don't know if you're just joining us, but Todd Dorr is a huge Steelers fan.
Yep. And so is AD. His cup is in here. I got a cup of coffee today, and I'm like, ooh, I can't use that Steelers cup.
So I'm wondering if AD had the Steelers underoos when he was a kid.
Probably.
Okay. All right. So moving on. All right. So Todd, we were talking the other day about how we spend as Farrell's owners and gym owners, we spend all of our time trying to hold others accountable. Like,
Right.
let me look at your logs. Let me, how are you doing? I want to, you know, we're doing in bodies, and we're trying to help change other people's lives. And that's kind of all we do all day. But we
Right.
don't really have anybody to hold us accountable, you know? So like throughout the years, you know, we've,
it's kind of like parenting. Sorry to interrupt. It's kind of like parenting where like when you're in the middle of it, like you put yourself on that back burner a little bit because you're putting so much energy into, you know, raising your kids. And that's kind of what a session is, or just being a gym owner is, because you're pouring into other people. So sometimes it's hard to like turn that attention back to yourself.
And usually the first 4 or 5 weeks of the 10-week challenge is, you know, you're all in with everyone, trying to get them into that routine. And, you know, once we get into this week 6, 7, 8, it's like, okay, now we're kind of on cruise control a little bit here. Everybody's into their routine. They're loving it. They're knowing what's going on. But yeah, we kind of put ourselves to the back burner, and that's, from our conversation, that's kind of what you had done.
Yeah.
So tell us that story of your wife and Easter and how all of that started.
I don't know this.
Yeah, Nicole doesn't know all of this, but so something you're passionate about here.
Yeah, I think, you know, I'm 52, so I feel like when I graduated from Iowa State, I was doing a lot of competing, a lot of tournaments, and when you're doing tournaments like that, you have to stay within a certain weight range. So I never veered out of my weight range. So I could always lose 5 or 6 pounds to get in my weight category to compete. And so I never lifted weights. I never did I only did Taekwondo. So it was all cardio based. So when I started doing FXB, then I started to put on muscle, and I'm still not huge, but I'm probably 30 pounds I probably put on 30 pounds of muscle. I mean, I was very skinny. And so I put on this muscle, and then I maintained it over quite a period of time. And then I would say at probably my early 40s, just things start to change. You just don't feel quite the same. I mean, it feels like you don't get over soreness quite as fast, and it just feels like your metabolism starts to slow down. And you know, I never use that as an excuse, but it always just feels like, you know, the older you get, especially now that I'm in my 50s, it feels like things just kind of change. I talk with this about my buddies all the time, and I had gone through over the past several years just a series of necks, like I'll get going next week. You know, next year will be better, you know, and you know, next week I'll get back on my meal plan. Next week I'm going to be hitting those workouts. You know, I'm not going to miss any workout. And you kind of start to live in that series of necks, or just like, it's just one meal, right? Oh, it's just one drink, and then it's just one weekend, and then before you know it, you've gained weight and gain body fat, and you're still working out. And as Lance Farrell says, you can't outrun your fork. You know, so I think when you get into your late 40s and 50s, that is especially true. And I'm just like everybody else. You know, I'm at my desk most of the day. I think, you know, something that's different between, you know, me and you is that you're pretty active you got feet on the mat quite a bit. So there's a lot of moving around. Whereas, you know, I'm trying to do communications and training playbooks. So I'm spending a lot of time sitting. I still get my workouts in, but there's a lot of sit down time, and I'm just, you know, age combined with, you know, more of a sedentary lifestyle is not good for anyone. And it wasn't good for me. And at Easter this year, my wife says, hey, my pants just don't fit quite the same as they did when I tried them on 3 months ago. She goes, we're going on a diet in 2 weeks. And I said, wait, what are you talking about? What do you mean why are you pulling me into this? I don't need to go on a diet. And she's like, do you agree that you could tighten things up a bit? And I said, yeah. And she said, that's all I'm asking, is that you tighten things up a bit. And so she said, next weekend, I'm just going to throw away everything that's in the pantry that will cause us to stumble. And so we did the pantry makeover thing right away. And then we started meal planning. And she said, instead of white potatoes, let's do sweet potatoes. Instead of white rice, let's do brown rice. And so we just started making some changes like that. And like within a short period of time, I'm like, holy cow, I've just lost 7-8 pounds. And I also aim to increase my activity. I said, I am not going to miss a workout. I'm going to be at a workout every day, and I'm going to make time for myself. And so I really made that a priority also. And, you know, we have our heart rate trackers that gives us points for activity. And so I said, you know, I want to set a goal, an activity goal for myself. And I've hit that goal every month for the past 10 months. And, you know, without that, so increased activity, dialed in nutrition, and that's it. You know, no supplementation, nothing, you know, that I need that's gonna, you know, boost my metabolism in, you know, at my age. I'm not really into that. I want to see what I can do just all natural. And just that type of focus and a lot of behavioral changes, you know, like things like I'm going to weigh in on Saturday mornings. I'm going to weigh myself. And if I don't change in weight, I'm going to be okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas before, you know, I'd hit that weight and I'd kind of plateau and I'd look at it and say, forget it. I'd just go back to what I was doing because it's not doing me any good. And so I had to say to myself, you know what, it's okay if you don't lose it. It's okay to have a plateau, you know? And so I've just kept going, and I feel better than I have in probably 15 years. Just from a health perspective, I haven't done any internal, you know, health chemistry. I haven't done any blood draws to see how my internal health is, but I can just tell you it's better than it was. You know, you just know that things are slipping and you need to get on track. And it was that little nudge by her, and also her saying, let's just, you know, let's plan out our meals at nighttime, because we had gotten into a routine where, you know, it's 5 o'clock, 5:30, we're heading home. All right, what's for dinner? I don't know. What do you want for dinner? You know, it's just back and forth. Well, let's just grab something.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, not all the times you would grab stuff, it would be great. So it's just a commitment really to a different lifestyle. I think for a lot of guys, they get into, you know, guys my age, we get into these traps where it's like, I'll just have a beer watching football, or I'll have 2 beers watching football. Well, do you realize you can watch football 5 days a week now?
Yeah.
You know, you can literally drink 12 to 18 beers, you know, in a week without batting an eye, you know, and get up and go to work. And you're like, oh, I'm not hungover. And
I'm sure
so
there's some football game on today, just a replay ESPN Classic football
XFL's
game.
going on now, so you got XFL.
Yeah, there you go. You know? So I think, you know, I think guys like, you know, that get into those habits like that, where it's like, oh, I'm just too busy, you know, to meal plan. It's like, do you have 2 to 3 hours on the weekend to meal plan? Do you have 2 to 3 hours to meal plan throughout the week? Because that's typically what it takes me. I've got a real dedication to meal planning, even through the night. It used to be my 8 to 5 meal plans were great. We'd come home and then it was whatever for dinner, and then I would stay up later, you know, about 9:30, 10 o'clock. All of a sudden I'm like, man, chips and salsa sound really good right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been going to bed earlier, so I don't have those cravings. Just a multitude of behavioral changes have really helped me. And so my wife has said to me, you know, I think it's been good. I think it was good for you to experience what other guys are going through, because now you have more empathy, you know, for their situation. And I couldn't agree more with her.
Yeah, I think one of the things I think about a lot, as we get older, and things that you don't realize, but as we get older, and that, you know, and the thing about the metabolism, I read an article once about, it's more that as we get older, we get more efficient at things. So, but like when we're younger, you're doing like, you know, you're doing a ton of stuff. But then as you get older, we just kind of get more efficient. And so we're not walking, we're not moving as much, we're not doing as much, because we have these routines that are super efficient now. And so it's like that NEAT, that non-exercise activity thermogenesis, just takes a dive. And that does, you know, affect your, you know, activity level. But I like to say, and I say this too because just genetically, I just don't have the greatest kind of genetic makeup in my family. So I always like to say I have to work twice as hard to get half the amount of results. But that's so true as you get older too, just comparing yourself to your old self. Like you have to work twice as hard to see half of the amount of results. And sometimes you just have to kind of dig a little bit deeper. But the thing is, all you did was go back to the basics of FXB. Like you didn't try to reinvent the wheel, you just did what you're supposed to do. And so people are like, well, what did you do? I'm like, and you can just be like, I did what I knew I needed to do to see results. Like I didn't have to invent the wheel. I didn't have to do the latest and greatest fad. I just went back to the basics.
It is. It's all about executing the basics and executing well. And we have our fun day and, at Farrell's where, hey, 6 days a week, you're disciplined with your workouts and your nutrition plan. And then you have a fun day. And at some point I had to say, okay, I don't need to go all out on fun day. I don't feel like going all out on fun day. You get to a point where you say, that sweet treat, whatever it is, it just really doesn't look that appealing. Or if it does, it's okay to have a bite of something. That's something that my wife and I started doing. Is we would like split meals a lot of times, or she's like, I'm gonna get fries, and all I need is can I just have a couple? Yeah, have a couple fries, and okay, that's it. That's all I needed. You don't need to eat a whole plate of them.
Sometimes that's the bad thing about that fun day is because then it becomes more of a conditioned response. We see that with our fit members. We see that with our kids, even like they aren't even doing Farrell's, obviously. I mean, our daughter does, but he'll be like, but it's my fun day. I'm like, you are not a lab rat. Like it becomes a conditioned response. Like, oh, where's this? You better do this. And then when you really think about it and you have that and you overindulge, and then the next day, man, you really feel the difference in your workout. Then you kind of have to reevaluate and be like, maybe I did overdo it. Maybe I just need to pick and choose and not go all out every single time. But if you don't ever stop and put that connection together, you can dig yourself a pretty deep hole until you realize that one little change is all that really you needed. So I think that's the biggest thing. Like, what's the easy things? Pick the low-hanging fruit first. Like, pick the simple things. You can stop drinking beer when you're watching football. You can start meal planning that one meal that you struggle with. Pick the easy stuff first. And then you can decide, okay, I've lost a little bit of weight. I could probably lose a little bit more, but do I want to? I feel great. My clothes fit well. Do I really need to dig a little deeper? And maybe sometimes you do. And sometimes you can just be happy where you are. And I think that's what the fitness industry has done. It's like made you we have to keep going to the next thing and the next thing. But really, we just need to find that sweet spot.
Yeah. Sustainable sweet spot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
So Nicole, go ahead, Jeff.
Oh, I was no, you can finish your statement. Then we're gonna go to break here. But finish up what your thought there, Todd.
Nicole, you're a workout warrior. How many miles have you run already today?
Oh, I'm gonna run later because the roads are I wasn't sure how the sidewalks are gonna be. So it's literally the first weekend that I have not worked out before the show. So now I feel guilty.
I follow you on your MyZone, your heart rate tracker, and I'm like, Nicole, 5 o'clock in the morning, you're working out on a Sunday morning. I mean,
I usually do. I know.
Or you can sleep in a little bit.
That is sleeping in. That is sleeping in.
When you get up, when you get up at 3 a.m. every day, so
we slept till 6 today, which is a lot.
Well, and this is a funny, so we hadn't had a 5 a.m. class on Saturday since pre-pandemic. So I think the winter of 2020, we had a 5 a.m. class on Saturdays. And then once we reopen, the numbers are a little bit down because you can only have so many people, yada, yada, yada. So for the last 6 months, we're just up at 4 o'clock on Saturday morning just to wait.
Right.
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, let's just bring back the 5 a.m. class.
Might as well
on Saturday because we're up anyway.
Yeah.
And we're just laying there okay, should I turn the TV on? It's 4 o'clock. Well, I mean, so we're just up. So that's sleeping in for us.
Yeah. Don't worry. You'll see me pop in on that MyZone here later today. I got to get my
All right. Fair enough.
Attacked. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll take a break here. We're going to come back. We'll talk a little fitness trends and what Todd thinks is kind of the future of fitness and what he's seen over the last 30 years being involved in that. So that's what we're going to talk about here after our break. So don't go anywhere on 93.7 The Ticket.
It's a battle of the big cats today in NCAA men's basketball on The Ticket as the Memphis Tigers travel to the Lone Star State to take on the second-ranked Houston Cougars. It'll be a homecoming for Memphis point guard Kendrick Davis, who's averaging 21 points and 6 assists as they look to upset the 24-2 Cougars, who are riding a 6-game winning streak. That game tips off at 2 p.m., and you can hear all the action right here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The dangers of secondhand smoke are well known. But what about secondhand aerosol, which is created when using e-cigarettes? Science already shows a secondhand aerosol can contain nicotine, heavy metals, and cancer-causing agents. Eliminating exposure to secondhand aerosol is an important step to keeping everyone safe. Breathe easier knowing the facts.
For help quitting, call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, "Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket," and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling, the limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids. First, I hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. Next, I put it in reverse. Beep, beep, beep. Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now back to Fitness Fanatics on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, we are back. We've been joined by Todd Dorr of Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping out of our corporate location in Des Moines, Iowa. Kind of this next segment, Todd, you've been in the fitness game for a long time. So just kind of want to get your thoughts on where fitness is, where it came from, where it's going to, the trends and stuff that you've seen and any advice you have for listeners and, just kind of kick it around, see where we go on this next segment.
Yeah. No, great question. This is a great topic too. I think when I see our national challenge winners and even those that have participated in the year-long national challenge, the thing that I read every year, I've been reading these for 12 years. We just recently awarded our national challenge contestant winner checks and had a big presentation. That was fun. But I read the stories over and over, and I always see people saying, I wish I would have done this sooner. They say, I kicked it around for a year. I drove by, I called in, I stopped in, I wasn't ready to commit. I thought I could do it on my own. I finally, I gained more weight. I lost more hope. And then they say, I finally started. I said, I just can't do this anymore. So I finally started and it changed my life. And if we can reach those people first, I want to have a concerted effort to reach people who have put it off for 1 year, 2 years, and just kept sliding. I want to reach those people and say, hey, come in. We're a place for you. We can teach you how to do everything. And like I said earlier, we will show you how to do kickboxing. Kickboxing itself can seem really intimidating. We're going to show you how to do it. The core parts of our program aren't going to change. They're not. We're going to show people how to do it. We're going to take care of people. That community is still going to be there. I think a lot of people are intimidated when they hear, come join our family or a group of friends. And, some people are like, wow, I'm kind of an introvert. I don't really know if I want that, until they get in and start working out with folks and, and start giving high fives, in and after class. And I really want to get those people in to experience our community, because it provides a little bit of additional accountability. If Jeff and Nicole, you've experienced that before. If you don't show up, one of your friends will text you, hey, what's going on? It may not be that day, but a couple days pass. Hey, where have you been? I miss seeing you. It's that additional connectivity that we provide that I think people need. And people can go work out on their own, and they keep trying to do things without support. And it works for some. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I mean, some people are disciplined. They're hardwired to get it done on their own. The majority of people aren't, and so we can provide that. But so our core is really not going to change. I think what will change, what I see is a future trend in not only Farrell's, but just fitness as a whole, is it's going to be more rounded. Because I think coming over the past couple of years, what I've seen people say more than anything is, man, I just can't get out of this funk that I'm in. I just can't seem to break away from whatever it is, or I'm on this myriad of medications, for either mental health or, cholesterol, blood pressure, pre-diabetes, all these things. It's amazing how much our program can help with this. But I think we have to address some of the behavioral issues that people have. I think we need to address all of the issues, not just physical, right? Eat this, do this. So we need to address the rounded person. I think the increase of technology that we use, I think that the amount of technology we use will increase over the next few years, particularly with chat bots or online programs. Chat GPT is wildly popular right now.
I know. I just made a video of it. I just made a Chat GPT video to share with our 10-weekers, like how to use it in a good way for like meal planning. I haven't shared it with them yet, but yeah.
There you go. That's what I was going to get to. See, Nicole, you're always one step ahead of me. You're always one step ahead.
I know. I literally just made a video.
I come to you and I'm going to give you a training tip, and you're like, hey, I've been punching this bag and telling the students to hit the top of the logo and the side of the logo on hooks. And I'm like, man, I should have thought of that. And I've been using it for the past 8 to 10 years. So see, you're always one step ahead of me.
I know. That's just how my brain is wired. But it's true, because especially stuff like that where you think, oh no, this could be bad, but how could it be beneficial? So that's a huge advantage, I think, that we could utilize. But yeah, anyway.
I did the same thing. I went to ChatGPT and I said, based on 2,000 calories and 45%, I broke down the proteins, carbs, and fats. And I broke it down and said, give me a 6 day a week meal plan, 6 meals per day, and it just spit it right out. So now, is it perfect? It's not going to be perfect.
No. Yeah.
But it does give people ideas. It gives people options. Oh, you know what? I hadn't thought about eating that today.
Now, now we're on a tangent, but have you entered in, give me a 3-minute kickboxing routine with jabs, cross, roundhouse kicks, and back fists? Have you entered that? Because the stuff it comes back with is wild. Like, it's good, and it'll put like technique tips in. Pivot on the ball of your foot as you throw that roundhouse kick. Like, it's pretty cool. So you should do it just for fun.
Yeah, for sure.
I know.
One step ahead of me.
Yeah, we're on a tangent now. But that's the future, It's funny because when the first part of what you were talking about, how fitness can help with those blood markers and stuff like that, how we can, like, it almost makes it seem like fitness is becoming more of a holistic kind of avenue, which maybe, back when we started, the holistic fitness was yoga and stuff like that, but now it's kind of swinging back around. But then at the same time, you can look back and you can look forward to see what the future, it can hold too for fitness. So it's like, it's not going away. Like, it's not, it's a very sustainable kind of market to be in right now, fitness.
I agree. And even the use of technology, we had talked about the heart rate trackers. I mean, we use the MyZone product in our studios. And so with that product, you can actually see what other people are doing. You can set goals, monthly goals for yourself. That was critical with my success over the past 10 months. Set monthly goals for yourself. You can communicate through the app. You can like other people's moves. You can see what other people, you can encourage other people. I mean, it's, stuff like that will be here for the long haul. It's not going away. So I think you'll see an increased use of that sort of technology as well.
Yeah, I could see you did 2 workouts yesterday.
I did.
Yeah, so you're trying to call me out, but you got 2 workouts in yesterday. I'm looking right at it. I'm looking right at your MyZone moves. I know. Yep.
So I had something to say.
Sorry.
Oh, well, we were talking about the technology. Like, think back to February or March of 2020.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The thought of a Farrell's at-home workout didn't even exist.
Mm-hmm.
And as I think back now, like when we were in Altoona in 2017, 2016, people would say like, I'm going on vacation. Can we FaceTime the workout? No, We're not doing that.
Right.
What do you mean FaceTime? Yeah, that's impossible.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? We'll put a camera up at the back of the gym. I mean, like those are the things we would say, you know, and then now it's like, I mean, at least for us, it's such a integral part of the 10-week challenge for us, because now if people are like, and you know, like when you're talking about doing 10 weeks, people say, oh, I'm going to be on vacation, or I'm going to miss 2 weeks, or
my work schedule. We have a lot of nurses.
Right. My
with,
work schedule
you know,
changes. I can't, you know, your latest class is 6 p.m. I don't get off till 7 on some nights. Like there's days I can't make it. Well, now it's like, okay, you could do the workout from home at any time you want. You can do it on vacation. Like we've had somebody up in the mountains in Colorado that did her band's workout like on a mountaintop with her phone and her bands. I mean, so like just that part of the technology has really, in my opinion, amplified ferals and the locations that aren't doing anything virtual. I know there's some out there just missing the boat right now, because that's really gotten a lot of our new members to join, because like, you know, for us, you know, we're kind of in South Lincoln. I mean, now we have a gym more farther north, but you know, there's places in Lincoln where it takes 25 minutes to get from somebody's house to one of our locations. So when they say that they live far away, I'm like, okay, well, you can do kind of like a hybrid option. Like come to the gym on kickboxing days, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You get to punch the bag, kick the bag, you see everybody, and you do your strength training at home. You know, so, oh, well, that makes sense. You know, now I don't have to drive an hour 6 days a week. It's just 3 days a week. So just that little component has changed. I mean, at least for us here in Lincoln, has changed, because we've been able to reach more people like in Western Nebraska that are friends of our members that they don't have a ferals to go to,
or members that have moved.
or or members that have moved away, that they're like, wow, we can do this now and join your gym. And I mean, so it's just been really cool, but also really weird to think like, oh, this wasn't even a thought 3 years ago. How could we do a ferals class without a bag? Or I mean, it's just like so crazy.
Yeah, I mean, at that time too, you're like, Zoom, what's a Zoom? I mean, the technology wasn't quite there either, and it is now. So we can do those sorts of things as an add-on, obviously. And you know this, it's best when people are in studio, so we can have that face-to-face. You know, my wife will work from home quite a bit, but she goes into the office just so she can have that interaction with peers in the office. And I think that's still critical for our overall health. But for those, as you say, that are traveling, or they, you know, we've got guys, families that live out in the country. And to your point, it's like, I'll come in and do kickboxing, but I'll just do the online workouts with you at home.
Right.
So they turn their camera on, we interact online, we've got it all set up and ready to go for it. So
that's pretty remarkable. So I'm very excited to see what happens
the next 5 years, the next 10 years, who knows?
Yes. And one other, I think back to some of this stuff, we're just like, so like for our orientation, you know, like it's so hard to get 100 people at the same place at the same time on a Saturday morning. I mean, it's impossible.
You can never have everybody there.
Right. So now, like we stream our orientations on the 10-week challenge Facebook group. So somebody's out of town, they can just watch it whenever they want. Like watch it on Sunday, or so they don't have to miss out on anything. Where before I'd be like, well, you're just gonna miss out. I don't know. I don't know how to record it. I don't like. It's just weird to think like that was how we thought back then.
And in the nutrition seminar that we do, just gonna go cover our basic program and answer any questions that people have, so we can get them off on the right foot. You know, we can do all that online now, which they don't have to come in an extra day to the studio. So it's amazing. I just see it that continuing and maybe even advancing in technology in the future too.
All right. Well, we're going to take our last break. And then when we come back, we will finish up our Sunday chat with Todd Dorr of Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping. Coming right back on 93.7 The Ticket.
Can you believe all the empty car lots in Lincoln? How can they survive? Well, they are surviving by charging way too much and making you believe there are no cars available. Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto. I'm here to tell you that they are full of bull stuffing. Come out to Price Right in Westo and you'll find over 100 great vehicles at some great prices. We won't let you get a lemon since we back every one of our vehicles with our Peace of Mind 3-month warranty. If you want a hassle-free car buying experience, check out our website, PriceRightAuto.com. Come see a great selection of affordable used cars on Westo Street at Price Right Auto.
Do you remember your favorite teacher? I sure do. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. Teachers push students to do their best and help kids when they struggle. They make their classrooms welcoming and safe for all students. They create engaging lessons that help students access complex concepts and make connections. Support our public school teachers and students. Help make this the best school year yet.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association in this station.
A captain, Vershawn Jackson.
We're going to get a Mon Green set up in here.
You know, we go back 15, 20 years ago, video games is a picture of a kid or adult sitting in the basement, you know, lights off by themselves, eating Doritos, drinking Coca-Cola and all out of shape. And it's different now.
Yeah. Y'all working out.
You know, and it's like, you got to work it out now. So I'm adding in practice sessions in the weight room. We're working out.
Get them, Mon.
You know, we're doing esports camp, just like training camp. We're doing 2 a day where we're on the Xboxes, we're on the PCs, 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours at night.
We all make choices about alcohol. Kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad. Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Hey, remind me about that party again?
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations, and they want honest answers in everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path.
Sponsored by DHHS and aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
A lot of people in the summertime think, gee, I want to build a new home. By the time they go through the process of sitting down, getting the permits, and getting the home started, the home isn't done until January or February.
Bob Benish of Aspen Builders, and they've built neighborhoods in and around Lincoln for over 25 years.
I think the best time to start designing your new home is the month of February. Get an early start on it. Sit down, the snow's flying. Let's sit around the table. Let's drop some plans. Let's put numbers together. Let's get a budget put together. And let's get that thing started so that the home's done in summer or fall before school starts. So now is really the time to be contacting us to get an appointment to get the job done.
Make your dream a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your dream home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Are you a veteran looking for a new companion animal? A dog, a cat, or maybe something else? The Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs Vets Get Pets program can cover up to $350 of your pet adoption fees. Visit veterans.nebraska.gov/vetsgetpets to learn more about program requirements and how to apply. Want to help support the program? Get your Vets Get Pets specialty license plates from the Nebraska DMV. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
A lot of work goes into making Nebraska, Nebraska. Keeping it green. Helping it thrive. Making it fun. Everything that goes into caring for our outdoors, from waters to wildlife, plays a big role in making Nebraska home. Learn how we help conserve our state's natural resources at outdoornebraska.org.
Paid for by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
My simple solution to the problem was remove people from the scene and help them feel safer.
In response to attacks against Asian Americans,
Maddie Park raised over $250,000 to donate cab rides to the Asian community.
There is so much more work to be done. We really need to come together and tackle this issue as a community.
Support the Asian community. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Now back to Fitness Fanatics on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in. The last segment here. Again, if you guys missed any part of the show, you can check us out on the ticketfm.com's website under Fitness Fanatics on the podcast page. Just a few more minutes here with Todd Dorr from Farrell's corporate office. I don't know if you listened here at the very first, we were talking about how, like, you know, without you and Lance and, you know, starting Farrell's, I don't know what Nicole and I would be doing with our lives right now. This has been, I mean, we're going on in June. It'll be 10 years that we've been Farrell's owners. So June of 2013, and, you know, leaving everything we knew in Altoona, moving to Lincoln, Nebraska, which is now, it's been 5 years.
Last week,
5 years since we moved to Lincoln. And I could tell you, based on like how many enrollments we had for this 10-week challenge and how everything is going, like, I don't think Farrell's has been more popular in Lincoln, Nebraska than it has ever been right now. Like the momentum that we have going, our partnership with the ticket, you know, the radio show we have, it's just like, it's just everything is, you know, moving our location north has been a life-changing move for us. I mean, the amount of people that are like, this is amazing. You know, they didn't want to drive south. Now they have a north option, a south option. And it's just crazy. Like, it's just crazy that Farrell's has been here since 2009. So going on 14 years in Lincoln, and it's just
breaking records still.
It's crazy. So any final thoughts from you? We just have a couple more minutes before we sign off here, so I'll just kind of turn it over to you and let you wrap it up.
Well, I appreciate it. I really appreciate the work that Jeff, you and Nicole do in Lincoln, and just have always respected the work ethic. And your work ethic is one thing, but we know that you care about the students. We know that you care about the instructors. It's those extra things you do. It's one thing to say I care, but you back it up and do the things that show that. And man, it's just great. I really feel like I feel like this is your time, right? I mean, Altoona is one thing, is prepping you for this time. The change, you know, both of you are all in on this. This is your career. This is your livelihood. You are all in, to the degree in which you said, we're going to open a new location in another part of town. I mean, that to me just shows how all in both of you are on this. So I just have a lot of respect for you and the what you bring to the table to Lincoln, how you interact with people, the amount of effort and passion that you put into the students. It's just a real honor to work with you for so long. Nicole, I heard you talking about, you know, that level 3 training at Beaverdale when there was no air conditioning. And I was walking around giving tips the whole time thinking, man, I'm glad I'm not doing that, because they are dying right now. It was brutal. And you know, I just learned a lot about you at that time. I'm like, man, she does not give up. She is not going away. And that's really, I think you might have even been a head coach at that time too. You and Jeff hadn't even purchased a location, but you were there just grinding out. You would not quit, and it just says a lot about your characters. So
I can say the same for you for sure. I'd really appreciate you know, our kind of working relationship. It's not something that we talk a lot, but I always know that you can be a good sounding board for me, and I appreciate that too. You're very consistent with your messaging, you're consistent with your answers. I appreciate that you're not, you know, you don't kind of swing with the fads of things. And that's the culture of ferals for sure. So it is extremely mutual. You're definitely one of my favorite people.
Well, and what's so cool about the ferals, like what I've always thought is really cool is that, yes, we could have 1,000 ferals locations across the country, right? Write a check, open a location. But what's really cool about is every single owner all throughout ferals at all 62, 63 locations, we've gone through the 10-week challenge. Like, and every owner is an owner because ferals helped change their life.
Right.
And then like with Nicole and I, we had no plans of being gym owners.
No.
Growing up or when we got married, like we were in the corporate world. And ferals helped, really saved my life when I started back. The second time after I gained all my weight back, 2008, and it's just like, and that's how all of our instructors, all the instructors, coaches, owners, everybody within ferals, even you and Lance, started with a 10-week challenge.
Yeah.
And started the meal plan to see how it worked. And it's just never changed over the last 22 years. So
very cool.
Well, that's kind of our music ending this, but Todd, thank you very much. We appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
We'll have to have you on back down the road sometime.
Yep.
Sounds great. Thanks for having me on.
Yep. Have a good week, everyone. We'll see you here next week on the Fitness Fanatics.